Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for This Day in Metal, and I'm back with yet another New Metal Monday where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week, and I've got 5 brand new albums that I want to talk about. But before that, I've had such a busy week. Last Monday I went to see Machine Head live in Glasgow, and I've seen them 7 times now, and I often forget how good they are live, and they just keep getting better and better. Such an amazing show. If you guys ever have the chance to go and see them, highly recommend that you do so. They've got really cool merch as well, which I managed to get my grabby paws on, and it was just such an amazing gig. The atmosphere and the energy was just absolutely amazing. The set list was solid. If you want to see my write-up on the gig, I have that on This Day in Metal, which is linked in the description box below. And I also went to see the new Ghost movie right here, right now. Now, I know that Ghost isn't everybody's cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine, but wow, that movie was just brilliant. No spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, because that's not what this channel's all about. But honestly, it was like going to one of their live shows. It had that same kind of energy about it. Really enjoyed it. 5 brand new albums that I want to talk about. Once again, check out the description box below where you'll find a Spotify playlist link, which will feature every single album that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos, unless it is a Bandcamp only release, which I will get noted. So if you do use Spotify, make sure to follow that playlist, which gets updated every single Monday after this video goes live. If you don't use Spotify though, don't worry about it, because I will also include the band's Bandcamp links and their YouTube pages, just so you can find the music that I talk about as easily as possible. Make sure to subscribe to the This Day in Metal website that I write for, because not only would that help me out, it will help the entire team out. We bring you breaking news in the metal world, full detailed album reviews, interviews, special features, rankings. Definitely check it out. But anyway, I've waffled enough now. 5 brand new albums. Let's go. Okay, so first up on my list, of course, I have Cavalera with Schizophrenia, and it's the re-recording of their 1987 album. They've taken that sheer aggression and given it a breath of fresh air, and they've really approached it so well. I know it can be a bit dicey sometimes, re-recording classic albums, because it can go a bit wrong sometimes. But in this instance, and with the previous 2, it has not gone wrong. And even though they've approached it with all that modern technology and a modern outlook on it, they have still maintained that really aggressive 80s death thrash kind of sound, which I love. Personally speaking, the 80s and the 90s are my favourite era for thrash and death metal, 100%. But not only have they maintained the album in its sequence, so they haven't changed the sequence of the tracks, the length of the tracks, the details of the tracks, or anything like that, so that still remains the same. They've introduced a new track, and this new track, Nightmares of Delirium, is never before released, and it closes the album. So I think that's like a nice added touch to a classic album that they've re-recorded. But I love everything that the Cavalera brothers do, if I'm honest, but the early Sepultura stuff, that is where my heart lies, and I was so excited when I got my hands on this new re-recording, and it just did not disappoint. So obviously, if you are a fan of likes of Sepultura, Soulfly, even Machine Head, Lamb of God, Devil Driver, that kind of vibe, definitely get onto this one. Check this out. As re-recordings go, cannot fault it. Flawless. Good stuff. Okay, so next up on my list, of course, I have Kittie with Fire, and it's the 7th studio album from the Canadian heavy metal, nu metal band, and it's their first album in 13 years. Now, I'd always heard of Kittie, but I'd never really delved into their discography, so this was a very fresh kind of new band, despite the fact they've been around for ages for me, and I'm not disappointed, and I am so ashamed of myself for not listening to more of their stuff sooner, because this album completely blew me away. It does not hold back. It is angry, it is ferocious, it completely wipes your face off, but the little touches of melody and the catchy riffs really does hook you in in and it becomes so addictive. One thing that really stood out to me to begin with, apart from the power and the energy, because there's a lot of power, a lot of passion and a lot of energy behind this record, is the different vocal styles. I love the fact that Morgan can easily transition from those really powerful yet crisp and clean, beautiful soaring clean vocals, but then she transitions into the most evil sounding guttural grill that just sounds so angry, so full of power and rage. And I love it. And she seems to do that flawlessly. That is a talent I wish I had. I wish I was able to play music in general, to be honest with you. But having that kind of vocal range is astounding to me. And instrumentally, the album is flawless, addictive riffs, flying solos. Like I keep saying, the energy and the power behind this is just unrelenting. Blistering drums, they are so thunderous, chugging bass lines. I love heavy bass lines, especially when you can hear it in metal. Cannot get over how good this album is, and I'm definitely going to be delving into their back catalogue because, like I said, this is a very new band for me, despite the fact that they've been around for a while. So yeah, I'm hoping I don't have to give my metal card in for that, but definitely check these guys out. These ladies are just absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see them live one day. I reckon that their live shows would just be outstanding. So if you are a fan of the likes of Cold Chamber, Slipknot, El Nino, Static X, Mushroom Head, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you. I cannot stop listening to this. I am so addicted to the power and the energy behind this record. Love it. Absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, so next up on my list here, I am probably going to butcher the absolute hell out of this title because I can't speak English, which is my native language, never mind French, but I'm going to give it a shot, and that's Alcest with Les Chants de l'Aurore. Yeah, this one. Sorry, I'm awful, but this is the one that I'm talking about. 7th studio album from the post-black, shoegaze, black gaze French band. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what shoegaze or black gaze is. I know what post-black is, but the other two, not a clue. But I love this band. Absolutely love them. Transcending other dimensions and alternative realities, creating a spiritual awakening. That is the best way I could possibly describe the sound from this album. It is completely different. It's very flowy and floaty, very ethereal and soaring, and there's just something really magical and soft and light and dreamy about it. But then you've got the black metal element, which really adds that really harsh kind of reality to it. And I love the comparison between that floaty kind of dreamlike otherworldly state and the thunderous brutality of the black metal. The guitar work in this is outstanding. It's so beautiful and it just flows gorgeously. But then you've got the thunderous aspect of it. And the vocal style is just, like I said, out of this world. Really dreamy, really floaty, really spiritual-like. Very, very clean, very, very strong, but very soft at the same time. But then you've got the black metal growls and rasps that come into it periodically throughout it as well, just to create that comparison, that kind of like juxtaposition. And I absolutely love it. I don't really listen to any other bands like this. I've not really encountered any other bands like this. And I had the opportunity to see them live when they supported Cradle of Filth in London. I think that was last year, or the year before. It might have been the year before. My time scales are all over the place. But anyway, I've seen them live and it was like a religious experience. It was like a spiritual awakening, and they're so densely atmospheric, but in such a soft, dreamlike manner, with a bit of black metal sprinkled in. It's absolutely amazing stuff, and the artwork for this album is just gorgeous. So if you are a fan of the likes of Devin Townsend or Agaloch, Sur, Kvaen, these kind of bands, definitely got onto this one. Even if it doesn't sound like something that you would be interested in, give it a shot anyway, because it's so different, but it's a gorgeous, beautiful album and it's just absolutely amazing. I can't stop listening to it. Okay, so next up on my list, I am probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, but we carry on anyway, and that's Kvaen. Kvaen with the Formless Fire, and it's the third studio album from the Swedish melodic black death metal band. This is one of those albums that really walks a fine line between gorgeous melodies and crushing black metal, and they have created this incredibly beautiful yet incredibly heavy sound. But not only is it black metal, they've also taken a lot of elements from death metal, melodic death metal, speed metal, folk and pagan metal. There's a lot of elements of that, and there's a lot going on. It's very multi-layered, but it flows beautifully. It's not jarring. It doesn't take a lot to listen to it. It's a really enjoyable listen. But each time you listen to it, it presents something new. The guitars in this is a very guitar-driven record, so you can expect a lot of detailed and intricate riffs, soaring solos. They are just everywhere, and they are astounding. They fly left, right, and centre, and they're just constantly ongoing all the time. And it just wipes your face off. It just completely obliterates you. But as well as it being incredibly heavy, it's gorgeously melodic, with a few hints of synth in there as well, just to keep things interesting. Blistering blast beats, and the vocal style is very guttural with those deep demonic gutturals. So powerful, but the odd clean backing vocals and support vocals do make their appearance throughout the record, and occasionally you do get those vocalizations, but it is very much a guitar-driven record. Beautiful melodies, soaring solos, absolutely amazing stuff. Now, the one thing I really like about this album is, depending on what kind of track it is that you're listening to, the transition from speed, ultimate speed, so ferociously fast, but then you've also got those really addictive melodic stompy stomps. You've got a few acoustic moments in there that really builds the atmosphere, and it just kind of bounces back and forth and keeps you on your toes. But like I said at the very beginning, it flows astoundingly well at the same time. Those melodies are addictive, but it's going to crush you. It's going to absolutely wipe your face off. It's going to annihilate you at the same time. So if you like your melodic black death metal, which also takes in various other elements and toes the line between gorgeous melodies and crushing brutality that's just going to obliterate everything, this one is definitely for you. Especially if you are a fan of the likes of Dissection, Vorga, Necrophobic, Thulcandra, and Stormkeep. This one is definitely for you. Okay, so last up, but certainly by no means least, I have Inherits the Void with Scars of Yesteryears, and it's the third studio album from the French atmospheric melodic black metal solo project. I will never stop being impressed by these solo projects. My album of the year list is just going to be full of them this year, and give me more, please. I love it, especially if it's that atmospheric kind of melodic intensity, whether it's black metal or death metal, extreme metal, however you want to describe it. I am here for this. Very grandiose, very opulent, and very dramatic, but crushingly heavy at the same time. Now, there's a lot more haunting, ethereal, synthy moments throughout this record as well, but not only that, a couple of times there are acoustic moments that kind of have a medieval kind of vibe to it, and that really caught my attention. Yes, I love black metal, I love death metal, I love the atmosphere, and I love the melodic side of things and the symphonics, but that medieval kind of acoustic touch, you don't hear that very often. There's been a couple of albums that I've loved that I have discovered that on, but when I do discover it, I am all over that. There is something about that just hooks me in, and I find so addictive. This album is stunning. It is so heavy. It very much has that black metal element. So you've got the black metal rasping and the screams. You've got the black metal style riffage with the guitars. The solos are really beautiful as well. Thunderous blast beats. Rhythmical drumming is absolutely blistering as well. Chugging heavy bass lines. But it's that kind of medieval touch that only happens every so often throughout this record. And the haunting ethereal synths that really make a dynamic layer, and it hooks you in. And like I said with other previous records, before you know it, you've listened to the end of it and it's going to start again. It also has the odd occasion of those monastic kind of vocalizations that really makes that haunting atmosphere even denser. I loved everything about this album, and the artwork is just absolutely stunning. It definitely has that kind of fantasy, adventure, journey kind of vibe to it as well. So if you like any of the atmospheric, melodic, black death metal albums that I've recommended on this channel, you're definitely going to like this, especially if you are a fan of the likes of Vorga, Belore, Griffin, Far Beyond, Dwarrowdelf, these kind of albums. This one is definitely for you. And that's it for this week's New Metal Monday. Once again, comment down below to let me know what you think of this week's records. And if you have any of your own recommendations, let me know and I will definitely check them out. Make sure to follow the Spotify playlist if you do have Spotify, just so you can keep up to date with all of the music that I'm talking about, or the Bandcamp links that are also in the description box. Check out the This Day in Metal website for all of your metal needs that I write for as well. Like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate all of your support as always. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video.